In this video, I'm going to show you how to find cheap commander staples using Scryfall syntax. Now, my latest video where I showed you guys how to find cards that are like other expensive commander staples, but cheaper, was very, very well received. You guys seem to really enjoy that video, so I wanted to make this video for you guys. Now, if you've been playing Commander for any really amount of time, you will learn very quickly that all of your decks are going to need your veggies. That is your card draw, your ramp, and your removal. And if you're brand new to the game, you probably don't really know how to find these cards. So instead of just Googling good removal cards, I want to show you guys exactly how to find them. Now, although you could use the method that I showed you in the last video where you use the Scryfall tagger, there is an issue with that because if you are brand new, then you don't really know any cards, so it's going to be very hard for you to even know what to look for in order to find the tags. So using the methods in this video, you will know how to find cards without having to know cards that already do what you're looking for. I hope that makes sense. So with that said, let's get into Scryfall. Okay, so we're in Scryfall. Now, the first syntax I want to show you is the otag syntax. So you're going to type in otag. ... Now, anything that you put after this is basically searching for a tag for that thing that you're looking for, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I type draw here, it's going to show me cards that are under the draw tag. If I type ramp, it's going to show me cards that are under the ramp tag. So it's the same as like finding a card, then going on the Scryfall tagger, but this is just a way to do it where you don't need to look for a card that already does it, right? I hope that makes sense. So first things first, let's look for cards that do the easily most important veggie, in my opinion, and that is card draw. Okay, so we've got otag draw. Enter. Now, this is going to show us all cards that have been tagged under the draw tag. The problem is that not all cards that say draw a card is actually going to be like card draw. So we more want card advantage. And there is actually... Shannon, I'm filming a video. Can I call you back? Bloody sister. There is actually a card advantage tag. So card advantage, boom. Oh, so you can use card advantage and it's going to show you even more cards that don't necessarily say draw. So this is sort of stuff like impulse draw and stuff like that. So I'd actually recommend using the card advantage tag instead of the draw tag, okay? So we've got card advantage, but obviously now we've got all of our colors. So you can use color identity, which I showed you guys this one in the last video. So let's say your commander's color identity is Grixis, right? Say I'm looking for my Admiral Brass. Then I would type in black, blue, and red. Okay, you can just type in the first letter for each one. If I type that, boom, now I get all cards that are in the color identity of blue, black, and red. But what if I want a card that is a specific color? So for that, you're just going to go color, or C, you're going to do equals and then the color, right? So let's say I want to look for cards that are card advantage in red because red is kind of a hard color to do this. So let's have a look at some cards that give you card advantage in red. Now, what if we are working on a budget? We don't want to pay for crazy expensive cards. For that, you're just going to go USD and then you're going to do this little left arrow and then put whatever your price budget is. So let's say $5. Boom. Now it's only going to show me cards that are less than $5. Now, if I want to, be a splashy boy and I want to look at some pricey cards, then we do the other one. We go with the arrow facing the right, and it's going to show us some splashy cards. But I know most of us are looking to save some money. We are not trying to blow all of our money on Magic cards. So let's have a look at some nice cheap options. Boom. So we've got cards that give us card advantage that is going to be in red and less than $5. So we've got stuff like Faithless Looting. This is a very common card. But let's have a look for some stuff that's maybe a little bit more niche. So stuff like this card, Inti. This is a card that is doing impulse draw, right? You're exiling the top card of your library and then you can play that card until the next turn. So if you're playing red, you don't have much options for card draw, but impulse draw is a very big thing. So if you just typed in, say, draw a card, impulse draw is not really going to come up. So it's important for stuff like that. Got cards like Dragon Hawk Fate's Tempest. When it enters or attacks, you're looking at the top card of your library, and then you can play those cards again till the end of the next turn. Again, another nice impulse draw card. So yeah, those are some ways to find some card advantage if you were looking, say, in red. And then you just change whatever color you're going with. So let's say I'm looking for white. I would just type in W, boom, all card advantage cards in white. Okay, so if you're building a commander deck, make sure you've got a decent number of all these. Go through these, make sure you're hitting those numbers. Now, just a little tip here: if you are building a deck, try to get cards that synergize with what your deck is already doing, or does this veggie thing and then something else that you also want it to do, because having cards that do multiple things is going to allow your deck to be more functional. You're going to be able to fit more cards in. What you're going to quickly learn is that if you're trying to get loads of cards that synergize with what your deck is trying to do, on top of getting enough veggies in, enough ramp, card draw, removal, you quickly realize, and enough land and stuff like that, you quickly realize that you're going to need to start including cards that do multiple things if you want to hit all of these numbers. So this is a good example. Your temple is under attack. You've got a protection spell as well as a draw spell. Very, very nice. It can adapt based on the situation that you're in. Dawn of Hope. This is a really, really nice card in any life gain deck. Whenever you gain life, you get to pay 2 mana, draw a card, but you can also pay 4 mana to create a soldier token with lifelink. So it's doing so many things. It's creating lifelink stuff to enable the card itself. It's giving you tokens, and it's drawing you cards. And it's an enchantment. So if you've got enchantment synergy as well, boom, there's another one. So it could be fitting 4 different roles instead of just one. Okay, so that is card advantage. Now let's move on to, say, ramp. So let's look at ramp. So we've got our color. Now, again, we could look at green, but we know green has got loads of ramp, but maybe a color that's not very good at ramping. So let's look at blue. So now we've got cards that ramp us in blue. And what you'll realize is a lot of the time, blue's way of ramping is reducing the cost of stuff, right? So we've got like Ethereum Sculptor, artifact spells you cast, cost 1 less to cast. Baral, Chief of Compliance, instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. So you don't necessarily have to have cards that say tap this to add a mana, right? That's a big mistake that a lot of newbies will make. There are different ways to do these things. Just like removal doesn't always have to say destroy, ramp doesn't have to say add mana, card draw doesn't have to say draw a card. Another way to ramp is to create treasure tokens. The Corsair Captain, this is a card that's in my pirate deck, and this is a big factor of how my pirate deck actually ramps, because it's not in colors that are great in ramping. It's blue, black, red, so it does rely quite a lot on creating treasure tokens and stuff. But this is also another example of a card that's doing multiple things. It's a pirate, it's buffing my pirates, it's creating treasures. It's all a good time. And it'll even help you find like little niche things like this Blatant Thievery. Now, when you first look at this, you wouldn't think this is a ramp card, but for each opponent, you get to gain control of a target permanent. So you could literally steal people's lands if you wanted to, or their mana rocks or anything like that. It's a wacky card, but it is funny. I like it, especially in a deck that is stealing stuff. Maybe I'll put this in my pirates. And again, these are all cards that are under $5, but if you want to stretch your budget, we could put $10, and then we're going to get a lot more cards to look at. Did that even change? Go to 20. Is it going to change? Okay, 4 more cards showing you stuff like Urza. So let's put this number back down to 5 because that's a nice cheap number. And then the last one is removal. So let's have a look at green cards, because green is a card that struggles with removal, specifically like creature removal, because if you just try and look at destroy, it's going to show you a lot of artifact and enchantment removal, which is what green's really good at, but it's not very good at destroying creatures. So how do we run removal in green? Well, that's with cards like Kenrith's Transformation, where you transform your opponent's stuff into a weaker thing. Bushwhack, one of my absolute favorites. Again, a classic example of a card that's doing multiple things. You can rather grab a land with it if you need it, or most of the time it's just going to be a removal spell for only 1 mana. I love this card. It can get you out of a jam if you're mana screwed, but most of the time you're removing something with it. And then if you do want some sort of artifact enchantment removal, we've got loads of that, guys. Loads of that. So we've got stuff like Wear Down. This is, again, one of my favorites. Destroys 2 artifact or enchantments. So good in Commander for 2 mana. And it's got the Gift a Card mechanic, which I love, because I love getting group hug cards in a deck because it allows you to play more with diplomacy and stuff like that, which I think is something more players should lean into. Take advantage of the fact that Commander is a political social game. Don't be scared to give your opponents advantages. Use them as your weapons of war. And the last one I want to show you guys is how to find board wipes. So things that essentially remove multiple things. So for that, all you're going to do is go to removal and type in mass in front of it. So we're looking for mass removal. Click enter. Boom. Now we've got cards that destroy or remove, I should say, multiple things at once. So we've got the Azuri's Predation. We've got a Bane of Progress, comes in, destroys all artifacts, enchantments. I think you're going to be quite hard pressed to find cards in green that destroy multiple creatures. I'm just having a look. Let's see if we can find one. Whirlwind's a nice card where you get to just destroy all creatures with flying. You might look at that and go, well, this is a bit niche, but the thing is, a big thing that green struggles to deal with is flyers. So I actually quite like this card. I know my sister runs this in her Lumra deck. Yeah, I think it's actually a really nice include, and it's super cheap, guys. Super cheap. 72p. Throw this on a dragon deck. Yeah, baby. If you want a good one against blue players, just going to leave that there. But let's look at a color that has plenty of board wipes, right? Let's look at black. Boom. Board wipe galore. You've got your pick. Go as much as you want. Just mass removal. Loads of stuff here. Got a blood money if your deck runs around treasures. If you want to just a big splashy card that's just going to win you the game. In Garrick's Wake, 9 mana. Just destroy everything that's not yours. Yeah. It's going to take a lot to get there, but once you get there, the game's got to end eventually. Drop one of these. Boom. If your deck doesn't have a win con and it's in black and you don't want something quick and easy, run this card. And it's cheap. It's $1. $1. Yes, please. If you're in mono black, mutilate. If you're in a zombie deck, return all your zombies, destroy all humans. Now, you might think, well, this is a little bit niche. You would be surprised. There is a lot of humans in Magic the Gathering. This is one I personally love, Mandate of Abaddon. I run this in my Igra deck. If you've got a deck that has a high power creature usually, then play this and it will just destroy everything else. It's even better in Igra because Igra gets even bigger once you do it. Yeah, she's a spicy kitty. So I hope you found this video useful, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what else do you guys want help with? Because I just want to make videos that makes the whole deck building process easier for you guys. I have like deck building guides and stuff like that, but if I need to make an updated one, I can. Or if you want me to go into specific things like this, yeah, just let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to help. And guys, if you haven't seen this video where I show you guys how to find cheap versions of expensive Commander staples, then go check it out because it's like this and I think it's going to be very helpful for you.